Job posting recording training, February 2022. So to post a job, we have a couple different situations that can happen. Sometimes we have a brand new client with a brand new job, in which case we have to do quite a bit of legwork before we post. In this particular case, good news is we already know the client, we've done the legwork, so really all we're doing is swapping out information and then writing a positive, concise marketing language to insert into the job to swap out with another one. So for this particular job, you could use the job posting example with instructions document, or you could use posting new jobs in Diva training, just keeping in mind that you don't need to do step one if it's not a new client. So what we're gonna do today is the staff educator job at Mesilla Valley. So we already have clients at Mesilla, or we already have jobs at Mesilla Valley. So I'm just gonna go in here and grab a template. So I'll get the Director of Outpatient Programs template. Why not? And basically, when I say template, I just mean we're going to use an existing job as a template. And sorry for all the screens. I'm just trying to find it. Okay, so we've got Director of Outpatient Programs. So I'm going to just grab the entire job out of here. I'm going to pop it in Grammarly. And then I am going to start a new document. So basically, I usually put friendly and confident, and then convince for these. Not that it really so much matters. Okay, so when we're doing a new job for an existing client, the things that we're going to want to swap out are the job title, and then most of the introduction or job description verbiage, although some of it we can still use if it's just general to the client as opposed to specific to the job. We're going to look at conditions of work, make sure that's correct. We may swap out the salary, incentives, benefits. So once you start seeing it talk about insurance, life insurance, paid time off, 401k, all the benefits are always going to be the same within a company. So really we're just going to be swapping out the salary and performance stuff. So I'm going to put the swap outs in italics and then the keeps in bold. Qualifications are definitely going to be different. So they're going to go in italics. I don't know yet about this, so I'm going to just put that in italics, and then this is already in italics. So some things I would keep in the body of the job might be the region's largest mental health and addiction medicine organization. Obviously that applies to everybody. I might also keep this bit, uphold the highest quality care in line with our 25 plus years of patient service in New Mexico. So I'll keep that probably. So anything that's general you can keep and kind of integrate in. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. Everything else probably is going to have to go for this one. So this particular job is for a staff educator. I do not have a job description for this one yet. A lot of times we don't. Sometimes the client will send us one or they have it on their website. A lot of times they don't, in which case we have to be creative. So we're going to first look on their website. So I'm at the Mesilla Valley Hospital website, which is the client. I'm going to view all job openings. So this job in particular, it's a staff educator / infection control nurse job. So it could be listed under any of those names. So I'm just going to look through everything, see if I see something that looks right. Nope. Okay. Okay, so they haven't posted it, but that's actually good because that means we're the only ones who are advertising it. So if a client hasn't posted a job, we can certainly ask them for the job description. A lot of times this delays the process by several days, which we don't want to do. So in that case, we get to use our creative license and look it up. So staff educator, nurse, job description, great. What is a staff educator? And I'm just going to find like a little bit of knowledge here. I mean, the job description is just, it's supposed to be general. So I'm going to just start cutting all this crap out because we're not going to need it. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to just put in a job description here. And obviously I'm going to change that around so I didn't totally plagiarize it, but that gives you the idea. Staff development nurse, kind of same idea. Okay. And then I know infection control is also part of this job. So I'm going to look up and see what an infection control nurse does because I don't really know. Let's see. So this is someone who helps prevent and identify infectious agents, and it looks like they're also collecting and analyzing health data. That's probably important. So this person has to be good with the computer and organize. So yeah, we'll use that. Cool. Okay, so I have a very general job description here. So we'll go back to the top. So for the title of a job, I like it to not sound exactly like the client's title, and I like to make it as glamorous and clear as possible. So for this title, I'm going to write nurse educator, and I'm just going to leave it there because infection control really isn't sexy. And then mental health and addiction services in Las Cruces, New Mexico. That just kind of describes the setting for a job seeker. We can leave that. So then I'm going to do a little intro blurb here. So opportunity for a passionate registered nurse to serve as the staff educator and infection control specialist for the region's leading mental health and addiction medicine organization. Okay, it sounds pretty good. And then I usually do like maybe one more line and then some perks. So the nurse educator will uphold the highest quality of care and standards in line with our 25 plus years of patient and family service in New Mexico and West Texas. Cool. So that's that. So then for the job description, I'm going to just kind of write something up. Just for the sake of SEO, I usually try to put like these keywords in over and over, especially if I think it's a job people might want. I might use registered nurse, educator in some situations, whatever keywords that might be likely to come up. And if you're not sure, I can help you. So the nurse educator will be responsible for ongoing staff education and best infection control practices in the inpatient hospital setting. Great. Nurse educator will design curricula develop courses and programs of study, evaluate and create corrective action plans, and oversee clinical practice and quality. Okay, so that's good enough. And then I'm gonna staff development nurse, nurse educator will provide instruction to all hospital staff, including RNs, mental health, and I just know this off the top of my head. This would be information someone is given if they are writing up a new job. I would send this all in a quick email so you can make it look pretty, but since I know it, I'm just going to write it now. Mental health techs, providers, and other employees. Nurse educator will facilitate crisis, I think it's crisis intervention, certification, relevant credentials as needed to serve our behavioral health and addiction medicine population. Okay, so let's see. Nurse educator will also serve as the infection control specialist with duties including and be responsible for preventing and identifying the spread of infectious agents in the hospital environment. Nurse educator will also collect, analyze, and interpret health data and present findings to leadership and interdepartmental teams as needed to maintain quality and infection control standards. Okay, so I just wrote up a bunch of stuff off the top of my head. Again, usually you might have a job description or I would give you a bunch more information than this, but this shows you how to really wing it. Again, you just want to keep it general and not get like too specific if we're winging it. So I happen to know this is a full-time position, daytime hours, flexible daytime hours, opportunity to work remotely on occasion as needed. Okay, cool. So that basically just describes the job. They want to pay $65,000 to $80,000. There is no performance incentive. All of the other benefits are the same. So we're good here. Qualifications, I'm just going to take all these out. So obviously we need a registered nurse, RN. I'm going to put New Mexico or Texas registered nurse license. Usually these people need at least 5 years of experience because they need to have had enough experience to understand kind of the education and infection part. So years of nursing experience, 2+ years of nurse educator, Staff educator, trainer, preceptor, infection control, quality management, or similar experience in the inpatient setting. Probably this person's going to have a bachelor's degree, so I'm going to just put it's preferred, excellent communication, organizational skills. Okay, cool. So that is my job description. Again, it's just short and sweet, something to kind of capture the imagination. We don't want to make it sound like a boring HR job description. So then once you go back here, you should see, you'll kind of see again like what I wrote up here. So you can see I kind of followed the format. And then the format doesn't have to be perfect. It should be close enough to include everything. So then the other document actually talks about how to post a job in JobDiva as a new job. So all the steps are here, but I'll just show you real quick for a follow along. So obviously once the job is done, you're gonna copy it, go into Diva, go to new job, title, nurse educator. Sometimes I'll put a little like buzzword in there because that's what we're going to use for our templates. So I'm going to say flexible weekday schedule. I think that's kind of the big draw. So it's a flexible schedule. Company, Mesa Valley. So when you type that in, it'll pre-populate. I'm going to put a contact in here. So I will always tell you who the contact is if you don't already know. You can put the pay in here. It doesn't really mean much, but in JobDiva, job posting is kind of like the rest of Diva where, you know, less is more. If it doesn't say to fill something out in the instructions or in the video, then don't because we don't need it. And then I'm just going to make sure that my job description looks clean because obviously this is going to be what shows up in the emails we're sending. So we want to just make sure there's no weird spacing. Okay, cool. Okay, and then I'm going to add my users. So anyone else I want to be able to see the job. In this case, that would be Michaela. I'm going to save it. I don't really have any remarks at the moment, so I'm going to skip that. Good nurse. And then I'm going to put in my Boolean criteria. So Boolean criteria in this case, it's basically just your requirements, which is they've got to be a nurse. And then I'm going to be looking for some of these other keywords, right? So I'm just going to grab the keywords out of the job description I just wrote and put them in here. Preceptor, infection control. And sometimes, like, let's say if we were looking for an operating room nurse, we wouldn't put all these keywords in here. We would just put operating room because it may be CNOR. But with a nurse educator, there's like a lot of different backgrounds someone could have had before they became an educator. So that's where I'm going to get a little more creative with keywords, see if I can draw someone in that way. I'm going to see what the infection control certification is called. I feel like that. Okay, so this says CIC or APIC. Okay, if they say so. CBIC. So I'm just going to put a bunch of these things in here and just see if that pulls someone with infection control. So we had CBIC, CIC. That's probably good for now. Okay. So, okay, cool. So that's good enough. So for our states, we're going to do New Mexico and Texas because this is Las Cruces. So they are like 20 minutes from Texas. So And then we're going to grab the area code, the zip code of the hospital. And then I'll put 30 miles. I think that's about right. We're not going to worry about pay range or major, anything like that. And then we are going to save our work. Where did my save button go? Okay, cool. So now I've got my new job. The only other thing I want to do is make sure my harvester is on. So I'm going to put it on schedule so that it starts making a nice list of us for us to source. So that is quickly how you post a new job to an existing client with whom we're familiar.